Zero behind the scenes can go ahead and start the game, because I think that is his ability. And he has just done so. Wow, this is so cool, having a producer that I can just like talk to and make random things happen. Because usually, at least in Korea, it's like a piggyback broadcast. So you're just like, you're waiting, and then something happens.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that's when we're doing it. But hey, here we go. And I'm going to remember to, let's see if I can make all the settings work here. I have to turn my camera off. I have to set it for high latency. And then we're good. Okay. Okay, finally everything slows up, stops lagging. Sweet, we did it. So this is game number 1 of Naugrim versus Napoleon, both extremely good old school players from like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago.
At least, something. Yeah, at least.
I was gonna say, like, Naugrim was actually one of the first players that I ever saw play in like some WCG qualifier a million years ago. Yeah. So it's just so surreal to me that it's like both of these guys are back.
It's still good, and still very good.
Okay, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just like, how good do you have to be to not be in the Chobo League? That gives you an idea of just how good the round of 8 of the BSL is going to be. So that should hype you up for some of our future matches. But just to start things off, as we do with introductions, in the bottom left-hand corner, which I think is at least where my screen started off. This is IR. Oh, I guess he plays for IRK, but I haven't seen him play for them recently. It's Naugrim.
And in the top right-hand corner, as our Teal Terran, we have Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon, one of the rare Finnish Brood War players, who was I don't know. Maybe you can argue with me on this one, El Master. I think Naugrim actually had maybe a little bit more success after he switched over to StarCraft 2, but I definitely remember him also being very good at Brood War.
Oh, let's take a look at Napoleon though. That's not just 1 racks. That's not just an 8 racks. That's 2 racks. We got BBS going on here.
Okay, so yeah, usually I guess you associate BBS with being like built in the middle of the map.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you do it this way, then you're definitely not going to get scouted by the Overlord for a while, but you also have to run your Marines all the way across the map.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
I would have said something along the same lines, because usually when you build your units early, you want to do something with them early. And with Zerglings, they're pretty fast. They just like run across the map, and it's Blue Storm, right? So you've just got basically the shortest rush distance. But with Marines, I feel like, especially if they're trickling out like 1 by 1, I don't know how good that is. So I've never seen a BBS quite like this, but I guess we'll get a chance to find out how it works.
It's interesting too, because like I could see if you are worried if your opponent's going to go fast lings or whatever, you want to have barracks in base or whatever, but BBS is pretty all in. Like, I guess I don't understand his logic for why he's doing it in base.
Yeah, you just don't have a lot of SCVs with this. It's like, I'm so scared that my economy will be hurt by my opponent, so I'll just hurt it myself and stay alive. So, I mean, I guess we'll see, obviously.
Naugrim, though, because Naugrim did hatch first, and then he did gas before his pool, so it's like an extra delayed pool.
This is one of those, it's so crazy, it just might work kind of moments, where sometimes you can't save players from themselves, and no matter how good or bad their opponent's build is, they lose to it because they're trying something that's also, that's a pretty greedy way to start.
Especially against this, and he's possibly going to lose the Overlord. I'm curious if Napoleon's going to stop and kill it. I think he will to supply block him.
I mean, that has to be a very surprised Overlord. One of it's like Murgle Gurgles is slightly more surprised than all the others. And so somehow, confusingly, the Overlord is very surprised he's being let live, but it's because everything else might just be about to die.
We got drones off the line. Now, how many SCVs is he going to pull with this? Yeah, he's bringing down 3 or 4 more SCVs to help get that bunker up.
Yeah, and let's see how many Marines is he going to have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like so 5 in the first grouping, and then 2 more behind that with 3 SCVs. So we'll see how much the first 5 with the first starting SCV can get. Bunker's already started. There is about 7, 8 drones here to try to help here. But, I mean, when does he commit here? Because if he doesn't go now, he's going to have a much harder time.
Oh, he's going to try to go out and across the map and block some of the reinforcements.
I mean, I guess there's
many Marines here.
Thankfully, he does have a mineral patch to drone drill with, so he is going to be able to get on top of these Marines. He's going to be able to at least stop the reinforcements there, but I mean, the bunker's up.
Now, the one thing Naugrim did get is he committed to gas. He did get ling speed, so he is going to have some ling speed here in the next 15 seconds. So if he can get enough lings out and surround this bunker or do something like that.
Yeah, I know, I totally...
How does he get his drones back to his base?
They're gonna have to take the scenic route around, and maybe they come in for a little bit of a flank, but obviously, even if you stop this rush, if you lose a bunch of drones, then it's still successful. So, I mean, you want to save the hatchery, so he's gonna have to go here in the next few seconds, and it looks like here we go. Link speed is actually not done, but the Lynx do kind of get up close and personal. That's just like a lot of Marines.
This is not gonna work. He's just lost almost everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, I think we might just have to chalk one up for the in-base BBS.
That hatch is definitely dead. That's gonna leave Naugrim with what, 6 drones? And Terran has about double that in SCVs and has a gas and getting up tech. It's looking pretty bad for Naugrim.
Let's see. So he's got 8 drones mining nothing but minerals. Obviously, he does have Zergling speed, so I mean, if you can make a bunch of Zerglings, maybe there's a chance, but I mean, he's actually still ferrying Marines across the map, so he's like you said, pretty all in with this. He's actually getting a gas geyser behind this, Napoleon is, so maybe he's thinking a little bit towards the future, but there might not be too much of that left.
Oh, 8 Marines, 6 Zerglings, 8 Zerglings, a couple dying as they spawn. Looks to be just about dead.
No, I agree with your analysis there. Mine is exactly the same. When there are more Marines than there are drones, I think might have some issues, and those issues are compounding themselves. I mean, quite a few Marines
Naugrim's
died
a little bit frustrated about this. He's still fighting. I mean, he's got 4 drones and he's still fighting. I think he's a little frustrated.
I would be a little bit frustrated here too. And actually, to be fair, Marines are pretty garbage units individually, but you know, drones are not really built for combat either, and so with all of them dying,
every drone die.
Man, he really stuck it out there towards the very end. I mean, that's a rough way to start off a best of 5.
I wonder if the game was laggier, because like usually you don't see quite that much defiance, and a lot of times that's when a player's just a little bit thrown off, a little bit frustrated about how the game went.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel bad if it was me, and because I in Korea, the latency if I obs games live is just not that great. But it's not me, it's not you, it's not Zero, it's just their game. I don't know exactly what their latency was, but I didn't see them say anything about it in game. So obviously it sucks if they had some of those issues, but I think, you know, there were larger issues, like a very greedy opening Zerg build order from Naugrim, and Napoleon just went for, you know, not the BBS I'm used to seeing, but still a very effective rush.
Yeah, especially with the build. I mean, you know, when you go hatch first, that's always going to be a little bit vulnerable to BBS, and then you go hatch first and go for gas before your pool, further delaying that pool. Oof.
And also, it's on Blue Storm, right? Like, I feel like I want somebody to do this. Somebody like in the future when we're omnipresent, omniscient, we know actually everything. It's to go through every game of Brood War ever played on every map and like tally up how many games on each map were cheeses, and then you get a chance to see like which maps are just like the go-to. I want a cheese on this map. I'm gonna guess Blue Storm is way up there.
Yeah, that Heartbreak, Destination, all of those maps come to mind.
Basically anything 2-player with a short rush distance, you're gonna have a lot of potential, which also makes me question again the in-base on the BBS. But I mean, it worked immaculately, so I'm gonna have to reconsider that the next time I see it. So I think we should be getting into the next game. I'm just checking to see if they are ready. Looks like Zero is telling me to search for this game, but I cannot find that. So might be having that happen soon. Okay. What time is it there for you, Elmaster?
For me, it is 11:33 a.m. in the morning. What's it for you? Like night? Night?
Yeah, it is 3:33 a.m. For me over here.
Burning.
I basically I got the message from Zero. He's like, hey, do you want to cast BSL tonight? I'm like, sweet. Sure. And I was still at the KSL after party.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
guys, it's time. And so Zero was my wingman. He got me out of there before I committed too many crazy things. But I made it back just in time, and so I am here casting this. It's been a long day for StarCraft, but it's been a very good one. So hopefully it keeps getting better with even better games. And with the game being made, I can join it, and we can get into game number 2.
For those of you wondering where I am, my mic ate me, so I am just a mic.
We're actually
Trapped
seeing
inside.
the inside of Elmaster's mic. That's what the webcam is showing us here. It's a little bit dark and scary in there, but don't worry. The light of Brood War is always with you.
A little bit difficult
Okay.
adjusting, not being able to move, being a static object.
This is like the Brood War version of Pickle Rick, but with Elmaster. Okay. Let's see. I'm here, you're here, and I'm ready to go. So I guess we're gonna get into game number 2. This is on Circuit Breaker. This is game 2 of Naugrim versus Napoleon. Okay. Let's get into it in game number 2 of the BSL Chobo League SemiFinals. This is the map is Circuit Breaker, and then bottom left-hand corner is our Zerg player Naugrim.
And in the top right-hand corner, as our Red Terran, we have Napoleon. And I don't know about you, Rapid, but these spawn positions look kind of similar to last game. Different map, same theme.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest difference is that they are much farther away.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm just waiting to see my first. Is it a barracks first or a depot? And usually you could tell if a player was rushing if they sent an SCV out to the middle of the map. But with Napoleon, you never know.
Oh, you don't, and we're gonna see here, and that'll be interesting because I mean, I feel like obviously they're in around 8 of Chobo League. You know, they're both strong players, but I feel like Naugrim, you know, based on his latter games and stuff, had he played more, he would have had the ability to qualify for sure for Pro League. I'm less sure about Napoleon, so I want to say Naugrim is probably the strongest player. So I am curious to see where Napoleon goes with this, but we are gonna see a depot first this time.
Okay, all right. Thankfully, the depot cannot deal damage, so we're all pretty happy about that. It's yeah, might be a little bit of a longer game. We have you know, short rush distance on a 2-player map in game 1, and now we have a cross spawns on a 4-player map. So we're probably looking at a little bit of a longer game. And this is cool because we get a chance to test, you know, both extremes of these players' ability to play Brood War.
Especially a map like Circuit Breaker. I mean, you know, that's quintessential macro map. So many bases, so many options.
Yeah, this is the map that required people to have like the original Gatorade and Cheetos beside their computer, because like you're gonna need some sustenance to get through some of these. If you load into the game and you don't remember your opponent's race, you start out and you find out that you're both Terran, it's like, well, you know, you might just be here a while. But I don't know exactly what to expect other than, well, I guess from Naugrim, he's still going for a very economical opening with a 12 hatch.
See if he takes that gas first this time, or what? No, he's going to drop his pool. He's up to 200 minerals. So he's going to go 11 pool play, a little bit safer this time. No optimal, I don't know, 12 drone, 13 drone pool or gas first. He's like, oh, okay, I had enough of that. Oh, but actually,
somewhere out there, somebody's hyperventilating. It's like, that was not the optimal pool timing. He could have played better. I'm like, okay, yeah, man, those 5 minerals are really going to hurt him later on. But I appreciate you saying that it was not, you know, exactly exact. And I think that kind of highlights the nature of Brood War, is that a lot of times it's easy to look at even pro players playing and just be like, well, you know, I could have done that better. I'm just like, well, yeah, maybe, but he's also like doing everything else just so badassly that, you know, you can cut him some slack sometimes.
And Napoleon actually is, he's not BBSing, but he is going 2 racks, and Naugrim has seen it.
Oh.
So we're still going to see some aggression here from Napoleon.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying that he is both not scouted his opponent and before that decided that he is going to go for a 2 racks. So, I mean, good luck with that. He is very far away, so we'll see how much he can get done with that. Obviously, this is one of the reasons that you drone scout, to see things like this, and that's going to be pretty darn effective. So we'll see how he defends, because he did go for an earlier pool, but this is a 3 hatchery play, and so he'll have time to get Sunkens up if he thinks he needs them.
Oh, okay, never mind. I just saw Naugrim had sent like his drones to his gas, and I was like, oh, his gas is almost done. And then I looked and his gas had just started. And I was hoping he wasn't 8 King, but then he saw those drones. It was fine.
I mean, I guess it helps them get them to move a little bit more quickly, but yeah, they do actually need to be put to work, as all great Zerg overminds do. It's like no drone vacations allowed. And yeah, here comes down the first Sunken.
Yeah, so starting that one up just right away, not going to take any chances. He doesn't have any vision. So if Napoleon pokes out, he doesn't want to be caught off guard right now.
And let's see how aggressive this is, right? Where is the academy? Let's see, it's almost done. And he's just going to go exploring a little bit. I guess he's looking for an overlord, because I mean, I guess you wouldn't find the overlord there. Is he just trying to be a little bit sneaky about it?
The reason he's looking there is because a lot of times, like, you know, if you're at the opponents at bottom left, they're going to usually scout up because the natural's closer. And then now that Naugrim knows he's top right, the common overlord path, if you go up, is then to kind of work your way over right. And there might have been an overlord on that flight path.
Okay. Well, I mean, then good for Naugrim for not having it there and moving it back to a very defensive location. Some high ground to see these. Well, I guess it's going to scout these Marines if they walk too much closer to it. So he's got one chunk of 4 Marines scouting for overlord on one side, and then another chunk of 4 on the other side. Neither of them find anything, and this is the defensive 2 racks, Elmaster.
He just really wanted to intercept that overlord, but he's not going to get it. And now a Ling's going to come for Naugrim and walk right into these Marines. So it doesn't see much. In fact, it only sees 4 Marines. It doesn't see the medic. Oh, but another Ling's going to see these 4 Marines out here. Now he knows there's a pretty decent number on the map.
Man, forget scans. Zerglings are the best scouting unit. Oh my gosh, that's pretty great. So he actually sees everything. And crucially enough, this is double medic, not firebat medic. So if there are just a ton of Zerglings, that might be a little bit better, but double medic really does help you against Sunkens.
It is a rally bat coming down, but you're right. None there with the initial army, and only 1, so not quite the drone barbecuing ability. And also there will not be range when this initially arrives. Range just starts. Stim is done, though.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously range is maybe a little bit less helpful. If you stim and go in there, then yeah, Sunkens do die pretty fast, and that's only if they don't have any Zerglings to protect them, and they don't. There's actually...
He's committing. Oh, never mind. I thought he was going to use the SCV to tank the first 3 shots and then go, but I guess he just suicided the SCV.
I think he was trying to see how deep he could go to see where the Zerglings would be behind that. So he goes all the way in and sees no Zerglings and that there's 3 Sunkens. So I don't know. How bustable do you think this is, Elmaster?
This is one of those where it's like it's hard to tell. Like, I don't know. Half the time it just dies, and the other half of the time the Marines kill it and take like no losses.
It's very polarizing, right? It's not just magically close. It's not like in the death throes of the last Sunken.
I'm a little scared for him. If he goes right now, this has a good chance to bust. I mean, there's a few Lings up the ramp, but not that many. He's going.
Okay. Yeah, so he sent the medics in first, but they didn't get in range to take a shot. The Marines are actually dying pretty quickly, but there's not that many Zerglings. Some good splash from the fire bats. Looks like we got 1.
Oh no, the medics walk forward though. They're not healing. Oh no.
My God.
Healing break. It still might be enough though.
Is this actually going to do it? I mean, there's not very much DPS here. I think you could just go for it. I mean, it's only 2 Sunkens with 3 medics. I guess there's not that much DPS from Terran either.
Yeah, but that was still pretty nice. Like, Napoleon threw away a few Marines and medics, but he killed 4 or 5 drones, and now Naugrim has to rebuild more Sunkens. And his Spire's still not done, and his minerals are low, so he's only going to be able to make like 4 Muta.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is basically mission accomplished. Honestly, Napoleon could maybe even just pull back from here. I mean, he's on 1 base, and he's not building a command center behind this, so he is still committed to being very aggressive. So I think he's actually going to be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. And then, of course, Factory is already down, so there's going to be a tank. The Starport is starting. He's getting an Engineering Bay in case the Mutas just go straight cross map to counter, but there's not going to be that many initial Muta. It looks like he's only got, what, 4 or 5 making? Something like that.
Yeah, I think he had 5. Now he's going up to 7. And the first few are just about to pop. But I mean, hey, every Zerg is very happy that they don't die to pushes like this. So in some senses, it's mission accomplished from Naugrim for holding on. But it did cost a lot for him to do that. He had to rebuild another Sunken, a bunch of Sunkens built, lost mining time, lost drones, and he doesn't have that many mutas.
I mean, obviously Napoleon's on 1 base, so that part is good. But I mean, if you look at Naugrim's economy, it's like 5 or 6 drones mining minerals in the natural, and maybe 7 or 8 in the main. It's pretty weak, and that's going to be hard, especially because he's had to take drones off gas and stuff. And he's going to have to deal with a tank vessel. I mean, it's off 1 base, but he's still going to have 2 groups of marine and medic, a couple tanks and a vessel, and that's a very scary army to deal with when you haven't really been able to get your own tech out.
Yeah, well, here comes the mutas. This is where I guess they're going to be most potent as quickly as they can get across there. But it's only 5 mutas. I think we saw kind of a similar situation in the KSL finals earlier today, and I don't spoil too much if you haven't seen that. But the idea is that a small number of mutas, because of a weakened Zerg economy from an early Terran push, doesn't do much.
Oh, no. Especially if you get turrets already up and you've got a good group out of Marine and Medic to defend like this. 7, which is just barely over that magic number to one-shot. If he loses even 1 or 2...
Yeah, it would be pretty bad. And actually, if you look at Naugrim's vision, he is getting all over the map with a bunch of Zerglings, Overlords. The mutas are being pretty mobile, so at least he has pretty good awareness of what's going on. I think he should actually feel okay about keeping the Terran on 1 base for this long.
I think he'll be comfortable where he's at economically, but the only thing that I'm worried about for him is dealing with this push once a vessel is out. Small group of muta, but that's going to be kind of all. He's working on Lurker, but he's nowhere near Hive.
Yeah, you're right. He is miles away from that, if miles were a unit of time. But the vessel is still on the way. We don't have a radiate or anything crazy like that, but the first irradiate is going to be a very big deal because Napoleon can play defensively for now because he has turrets and bio. But once you get that irradiate off, you can start to think about pressuring the rest of the map.
And we can see that's exactly what he's doing. He's just waiting for his vessel, and then he's going to go. I'm surprised he's only made 1 tank, but, that'll still give him power to knock down on those Sunkens. But this is going to be a very scary army to fight just Lurker Ling, and, it's one of those things, too, off just 2 base. His gas is pretty limited. I mean, he's probably just going to stick to lair and try to get out a decent number of Lurker Ling and go for a surround or a flank and defend that way. Push
losing another muta.
Yeah, and he's bled quite a few muta already. He's down to just 7.
Yeah, down to 7. I was very scared that irradiate was going to finish as soon as that vessel was in range. And so were the mutas. So they run away just by seeing the vessel. And so here comes this very, very scary push. It's got, let's see, how many tanks we got in there? 1, a vessel. And he's trying to stem and catch the mutas, which unfortunately are not that catchable. He's going to pick off a few Marines, though, so...
Oh, he's really stemming really fast across the map here. He's got to be careful because he doesn't have a crazy number of Marines. And, if the muta picks off a couple of those, then this push becomes very easy to surround with, a group of Lings and a few Lurkers.
Okay, well, how good is this irradiate going to be? Look at how careful Napoleon is being with his vessel. It's all the way on the other side of the bio.
Yeah. Except just as you said, maybe he's trying to irradiate the muta, but there's a pair of Scourge with that vessel.
Oh, no.
Oh, my! The Scourge and loses the vessel. So bad for Napoleon. The only reason you irradiate the Scourge is to save your vessel, and instead he loses the vessel. That's a colossal mistake, and now he's going to get his tank picked off as well.
He's going to lose a tank, a vessel, 2 Marines, and he's got Sunkens back up from earlier at home in time to defend. Wow, that could have gone 2 ways. And it went like...
That's so good for Naugrim.
Yeah, about the best for Naugrim it could possibly have been. And he's got these flanking Lurkers, too.
Yeah, and there's not even a vessel. He's going to have to rely on scans. Hopefully, okay, he has scaved a boatload of scans, but still. The loss of that vessel, the loss of that tank, and he didn't get the irradiate off on the mutas. I mean, I feel like that had to have been a misclick because he sent the vessel back. He knew the muta were there. It wasn't like a miscontrol and he was desperately trying to save it. A misclick, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
but now there's going to be 8 lurkers. You know, as long as this is well controlled, Naugrim is going to smash this army from Napoleon.
Yeah, I mean, for Napoleon, like, he's got to go for it, right? I mean, this is what his build is trying to do. He's trying to expand behind this back at home, but if this doesn't deal any damage, he's going to be in a rough spot. And if he loses all of this, then defending that expo is going to be really difficult, especially with this muta pressure behind it.
And I kind of like how Naugrim is doing this. He's just massing up at home, and he's harassing with his muta right now, which is forcing Napoleon to not reinforce this. And then Naugrim's just getting a little more mass at home, and he's just going to smash this. I mean, there's almost 1 lurker per marine, as well as a group or 2 of lings hanging back there. So he's just being very, very patient right now.
And that patience is super impressive. I think for a lot of new players, you know, this is Chobo League. There are actually a few new players in there, or newer. These are not them, but the idea is that it's hard to stay this calm under pressure. And, you know, I've seen a lot of Zergs die from this position, but it's great to see that he's still being active with his mutas. And look at how effective they're being behind this. They're stopping a lot of that bio from moving out, and he's totally delayed. Yeah, he's totally delayed the expo too. So it's just going to be really, really hard for Napoleon to get anything done.
Napoleon's like, you know what, your tank's in range of my sunken, but I've got a lot of units. I don't really care. You can't run in here right now. I'm just buying time. He's working his way up to Hive.
Is he still only on 1 vessel? Yeah, I guess he is. Wow. Okay. That's going to be 1 irradiate. Where's it going to go?
Not much gas to go around on that 1 base, and he had to add a few more medics and some other things. So yeah, he just hasn't had the gas that he needs to do anything about that.
Well, here we go.
Here comes the flank. It's a lot of units. It's slightly off timing, but that is a lot of lurkers. If the spread is very, very good from Terran, maybe, but it should be way too much Zerg. Yeah, and there's not enough.
Oh my god, everything's just exploding. That's a whole lot of red on the ground. Jeez, I mean, that's a sick irradiate, to be fair. Oh. He is taking so much. Okay, he lost all but 2 mutas. Wow, that was a sick irradiate, but that's like the silver lining to the cloud that was that fight.
Please chase down the vessel. At least get the vessel for that irradiate. All right, he's kind of. It might get away though. It might get away.
This is the most comical chase.
So like Napoleon has to double bunker, or he's just gonna die. But Hive is pretty close to being done, and he has 0 map presence.
Yeah, and he's just now barely started to mine off of this base. So it's more of an investment than it is an economic reward. And he does have a bunker up, so, you know, that's at least a good part of this. But, I mean, the mutas don't really care about that. There's no turrets at the natural.
But there's only 2 mutas, so it's kind of more like an annoyance harass. Like you hear it, and you're like, oh my god, this is so annoying, and then it's not doing anything. You're just like, oh.
I forgot about that. I saw like a ball of mutas, and because they're usually stacked, I was like, that's a stack of mutas. Well, I guess technically yes, but it's only 2, so yeah, you're right. That's not really going to be that scary.
And also, the other good thing for Napoleon is not only is his Hive about to be done, Defiler Mount should be starting here, he's got his 3rd base up, and he's got 3 gases.
Yeah, he's totally safe because he knows that his Terran opponent has to be so scared that his army is not even going to think about hurting that upper left 3rd. And with this many lurkers, yeah, like you said, there's almost a lurker for per marine. Maybe there's a little bit more marines right now, but we've still got only 1 irradiate, only 1 tank. Actually, the 2nd vessel's just popped out here. But I think Naugrim should be pretty happy with just, you know, keeping his superior economy. Or do you think he needs to actually put pressure on?
No, not at all. He can just sit back and defend at this point, and he should be able to do that. He's got, you know, 8 lurkers. He's got a bunch of marines. You know, I don't think he has enough to attack yet. And honestly, Napoleon just about has the mass he needs to move back out and be intimidating. And Napoleon needs to get out here soon because Consume is a quarter of the way done. And if a Defiler gets up here, then this army goes from whatever to.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing for me is that. He's trying to break out with like irradiate, so he's irradiating like individual lurkers, and I'm like, wow, cool, man. That's not really going to be the biggest deterrent because the lurkers are still keeping this push from getting across the map. And man, I'm watching the Consume tick down. We just had Adrenal finish up as well, so I mean, I don't know how good this is gonna look once that Defiler hits.
Yeah. And I mean, Naugrim's just being super efficient. Like, he could possibly try to have attacked that army earlier, but he just like, I don't need to. I've got defilers that are done in 30 seconds or whatever, and I'm just going to swarm you and deal with it that way. And a few Scourge coming forward. Oh, he needs to send Lings with him, though, to actually wait. One of the vessel. Oh, the Scourge are being Scourged.
The last one hits and does nothing. Like, sick, man. That's a pretty par for the course as far as Scourge go. It could have been so much better, but he already got the bonus round when he got the Scourge irradiated and killed the first vessel. So, there's at least a little bit of karmic justice here.
So rough for Napoleon. He's basically having to like slow push these lurkers, which is not what he wants to do right now at all.
Yeah, slow pushing off the 2 base here. I don't know how well that's gonna work out. So yeah, behind this we've got tons of hive tech, consume. Basically everything. He's researching plague now already, and this is just like, I mean, it's not a tiny Terran army, but I mean every Terran army is 0 when Dark Swarm hits, and you can't do a lot. Let's see how many fire bats. He's got 2 fire bats.
I do like the fact that he has scanned this, that the Hive has done, and started laying some mines and whatnot, so at least he can have some anti-defiler staying power. Like, these lurkers are going to run into some mines and take some damage here.
Wow, he actually mine dragged into that vulture to deal damage right back at him. These Lings are not really working out so well. So
no, they're not.
Finally, they're going to get up here. A little bit slow on the trigger finger there, but let's see if we get a Dark Swarm.
Oh, no. It takes a hit from the tank.
Wow. And then dies. Okay, well, that was probably not...
AFK from Naugrim.
Well, I guess...
Now Naugrim's going to come in here. He's going to clean up everything that's on the map. So, or the Napoleon, rather, is going to clean up everything on the map. So that's good for him. Defiler doesn't get to his base. He gets a little bit of relaxation time there. He can get out on the map now, at least, and try to stop more Defilers from getting over to his base. But, of course, Naugrim is taking his 4th base, right? Yeah. And that means pretty soon we're going to have 4 gases. Probably not going to see a mech switch here. Yeah, we can see a 2nd starport. And he's getting to that point where he's going to have 4 gases, and 4 gas ultra is the really scary point of SK Terran, or for SK Terran.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you start to get really run over.
Oh, like, no, stop the vessel. He loses the vessel.
Oh, he's going to lose another one. Oh, that was only one. It was only one Scourge. But yeah, let's see. There's a Dark Swarm and a Lurker. Hey, that's pretty good. Even with an irradiate on the Defiler, he's still going to be able to defend.
I mean, looking at those gases, there's like 1,000 in the main and 2K in the natural, and it's kind of like the scary point. Like, when Zerg can make ultra off 4 gases, that's a lot of ultra. That's really scary, but it's kind of like a 2-3 minute window, and then Zerg mines out in their main and their natural, and then it gets less scary if you can stop the Zerg getting a 5th base in that window. But we're getting close to that scary window where Naugrim's going to be working off 4 gases.
4 gases, I think 8 or 9 hatcheries, and it's just going to be a flood of Zerg across the map. And this bio is already super weak for having been plagued, and the medics are all basically out of energy here too. So this is a lot weaker than it looks, for sure. And we've also got activity around the map, both from these 2 mutas that have kind of like checked a couple times, and a bunch of little pockets of Zerglings around the map too.
I mean, I do like that Napoleon is doing a pretty good job moving his army around, putting on pressure, and he's got this nice little cluster of Marine and Medic over at his 3rd base, kind of helping that get up. But Naugrim is doing a good job just defending, and that's really all Naugrim has to do at this point. He's got now a decent economy behind this, and he's just getting his 4 gases. He's got 2 lurkers burrowed, like the right side of his main. I'm trying to figure out what's up with those. Like, by his Defiler mound, he's got 2 burrowed lurkers. I don't know if he's hoping a drop will just unload there, like stop lurkers for eventual drop.
Dude, if it does and those are stopped, then like we can just quit the game right there. It's like you just win
it's
from
just
that.
Like the most, I don't know, abstract tactics ever.
I mean, to be fair, you got to start thinking about your position, right? If you're on 4 bases with all your tech complete and your opponent's only on 2, you got to think about like ways he could come back, and one of those is by drops, killing everything he has. So I guess better safe than sorry. Maybe that's the thought process. Just a little bit of mind clearing going on there in the middle of the map. A little bit expensive there, but he's trying to put some pressure out, push out, and get ready for the follow-up.
3rd base going, of course, he has mined out in his main, so Napoleon's at kind of a weak point for himself right now, where he's just on 1 base minerals. Napoleon credit, though, he's doing a very nice job so far, stopping Defilers and stopping other units from getting to his base. Naugrim's tried a few times and has been unable to do that. And Napoleon is holding on to his map control, which for right now is nice. It's allowing him to
watch this plague. Oh,
that's
disgusting.
plague. That's a good one.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the medics, but you know, hey, bio being plagued is still gonna make them basically useless. Does plague one of the science vessels, obviously make that very difficult, and it's basically the easiest defense of that fourth base that Naugrim could have hoped for.
Yeah, he got that up, just no worries. And I mean, if you look at it, you know, all his bases now have reasonable drone count. Like the economy and stuff that Naugrim is rolling on right now is good, and he's getting his ultra carapace upgrade. So we're here, and he's going to have a brief window here where he does 4-gas ultra, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Napoleon during that time period. He's going to need to hit some excellent irradiates and hopefully good mines and some other stuff. Uh-oh, don't lose vessels now, Napoleon. Oh, no, too scared. These vessels are going to become super important when he switches to ultras. He can't be losing them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the cost effectiveness of the Terran army.
This is bad for Napoleon. There's only like 5 Marines, and there's no medic over here. His third base is there, and he's going to have to run army desperately back.
Oh, man. Ooh, oh man, this is not going to be easy. He's got to lift the command center instantly. He does, so at least good reaction time on that. But is this even enough bio to hold on? It's all plague, so it dies in one hit.
Napoleon's fought well, but I feel like as soon as the ultras start popping, I feel like he's probably just going to fall apart. Getting disrupted, he's on one economy. Maybe if this double dropship does crazy damage. But Lings have seen it if Naugrim was watching, and he's got a lot of stuff just burrowed and sitting right there in the main. This drop has opportunity to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, he is definitely ready for it when it comes.
So no, Napoleon's going to hold on here. He's trying to unload his drop, but there's already a sunken. There's 2 lurkers very close. There's a defiler right there. This should just get smashed, I think. There are a few firebats in here, so that's nice.
Wow, this is the best drop defense I've seen in a while. Yeah, everything just gets totally cleaned up. He's able to save a little bit of it, and saves, of course, the drop ships. So they're still going to be annoying, but you know he's going to keep the base alive for just a little bit longer.
Dropship over here. He's got one cute firebat in the top left-hand corner of the main.
Dude, never underestimate one stim firebat can just kill.
Naugrim is on top of it, though. He's dropping in the far natural. Naugrim's on top of it, though. He's not taking damage from this.
Okay, well, at least the bottom dropship doesn't do anything. There's still that friendly firebat up top. Okay, finally some Zerglings down there.
Yeah, there we go. And the other dropship will finally die. Scourge continued to be Scourge, but he does finally get that out of his base. But that was well handled. He took almost no damage from that, and now he's got ultra popping.
He's got ultra popping. He's double expanding behind this. Really, I think Naugrim just kind of tightening the vice on this game. And you know, sure, Napoleon's been able to get a third up back at home. It's mineral only, so I don't know if that counts. But he's got income coming in, but I don't think that it's going to last nearly as long. And how does he hold on against 5 armor ultras?
Yeah, he's going to need to be like so active with these vessels, and unfortunately he's not really on the map right now in a position to be active with those vessels, and he's wasting irradiates, it seems like, on lurkers, which is not where he wants to be spending them, I don't think, right now.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, and he's going to get his vessels plagued there. Does kill a defiler, but I mean, maybe it's a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory. And yeah, wow, with what is that? Anabolic synthesis. The ultra speed just now finishing up. These are basically going to run. Ultra. Yeah, he's going to run over everything here.
I like that Naugrim's trying to block the 5th base. I mean, that's one of the best things you can do. But I feel like he's just going to go in here and just get creamed here. As long as a defiler comes over, it's a small group of Marine and Medic. His vessels are not like actively irradiating things that are happening. He does shut down the 5th, though, so I guess that's a temporary win.
Yeah, but I mean, there's that 6 o'clock base coming down, so it's like, well, I lost one base, but he's still going to be able to use the bottom one. Clearing mines by flooding a bunch of lings out around the map, just to kind of...
Naugrim's found that 3rd base again, and this one is with an ultra running in, so 100% he's got to lift yet again, back to that 1 base mining, and, you know, this game is starting to slip away from Napoleon.
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit of a greased pig the entire time. Hard to hold on to. But, you know, he's making a valiant effort. He's certainly not dead, but he might be heading that way with all his tech kicking in for Naugrim.
Good initial irradiates here, but on these ultra, but there's like 6 or 7 more sitting in the far main for Naugrim, and I just don't see an army on the map for Napoleon. and I don't see how he's going to be able to deal with these Ultra. And of course, now comes up like 50 supply. Whoa, that was a crazy mine. Did you see that?
Damn. Okay, well, I mean, that, let's not count him out just yet. I mean, enough mines hit like that, then he might be in an okay spot. These two Mutas, by the way, still alive.
Ultras. Yeah, being annoying too, but unable to kill the SCV, making the command center. But now he's got to stop a control group of Ultralisks. And those vessels are just sitting there waiting to be devoured by Scourge, which is a huge mistake by Napoleon. Like, he's not even hitting a radiate, so they're just AFK'd because he's dealing with stuff. There's too much stuff going on for him to keep up with.
Yeah, and once some units get uncontrol grouped or unhotkeyed, then I mean it's kind of hard to like go reset all your settings if you're in a stressful situation. So here comes that control group of Ultras we were talking about.
Marines too, though.
Oh my God! Okay, it looks like they're not going to die from their own explosions, but I think the Ultras are doing a pretty good job.
Hold on here. There's no Lings, which are the primary damage dealers, so he's kind of holding this.
Yeah, and where's the Dark Swarm? Like, if one Dark Swarm here, or maybe a couple up the ramp, and nothing does any damage. But instead, these Ultras are actually gonna die.
However, there's two Ultras in the third, and they're still forcing the lift. And of course, because he's desperately defending, he can't secure his third base, so he's just got this last little bit of minerals he's mining.
Well, both of these Ultras are like very low HP, but it just takes a million years to kill them.
Literally got the Ultra completely boxed in with medics. It can't retreat. It can't go anywhere.
Sick. What is this, Warcraft 3? Yeah. Okay, well, this is not gonna go well. And Naugrim can just like flood a million units across the map. He's doubling up Napoleon in supply, and I think we're kind of watching the Terran death throes here.
I mean, the efficiency here of Napoleon has been fantastic, but it doesn't really matter when you're mining one base. And Zerk has
yeah. I mean, this is the point where you start to see that, Napoleon's like, making the most of his APM that he could, but there's just nothing that you can use it on that'll get you back in the game. GG. Man, what a game.
Vengeance.
Yeah. I will say that it probably feels pretty good to win that game. Anytime you lose to like a 4-pool or a BBS or something, like, you gotta feel a little bit bad about that. But winning the second game just like rebounds that so much.
You lose to something cheesy like that, and you're just like, and then you're like, all right, you play standard. Oh, now you see what happens. Don't mess with me, boy.
Okay, let's see. How are the games going? Let's see. Okay, so I think for the next one, we might try doing a little bit of screen sharing. Because apparently there's still a whole lot of latency. Adding me into the equation was already a little bit strenuous because we've got to go from Poland to Korea, but now we're like expanding things, including the USA, and it's just, I don't know. All we need is an Antarctic commentator, and we've really got the globe covered. But yeah, we're kind of stressing things out here. So I think for the next game, I'll try to do some screen sharing. We'll see how well that works. I don't know. But I'm optimistic. So we'll see. Okay. Well, I mean, for calling this Chobo League, we're still seeing some pretty good competitive games. I will say that, like, when you watch, I don't know, do you actually have picks for BSL finals after seeing the round of 8?
I've been casting BSL Chobo League, and I have picks for that. BSL finals, I still have to think about. Okay. Well, what are your picks for Chobo League finals? Chobo League finals, I'm thinking it might be Naugrim. Naugrim, I definitely think it's going to be Naugrim versus Nyoken. And yeah. I saw those two names, and I'm just like how, like, this would be if Naugrim and Nyoken were like being coached in CPL. I'm just like, well, I don't know about that. I feel like I think they're pretty good. But yeah, in Chobo League, yeah, it's sick to see the names like that in the semifinals. Those are probably pretty good predictions there. So. Of course, let's not forget, these players, we are going to be seeing them in next season's BSL Pro League, because anybody in the round of 4 gets a seed into the round of 24 for next BSL Pro League. So these are all Pro League players next league. Yeah, I think they totally deserve it, right? I mean, I saw their names and I was just like, wait, why aren't they in Pro League anyway? So yeah, very, very deserving of that promotion. So
Okay, cool. So I am in the game, and so let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you and see if this will work. Share
Beautiful.
screen or window. 720p. Why isn't it? Okay, it's not letting me. Oh, application window. Brood War. Share. Okay, how's that?
All right, I see your screen. For some reason, you shared it, and it just like instantly killed Discord.
I love the
Okay.
vehicle of esports. Helping us out again.
An admin of Discord, and he's just killing the cast.
Oh, yeah. I've invested this much time just to kill it. Okay, so
Just to do that, you share screen and it just takes everyone else out of Discord. A secret built-in feature.
okay, I think we're good. Okay,
Right,
let's try it this way.
It looks smoother on your screen. That looks smoother, although there's still some lag, but it looks smoother than before. It doesn't look like it's a very viscous fluid the SCVs are traveling through.
Now that's an idea for a map mod. First cloak lurker eggs, and then we get a chance to play underwater. There was an underwater StarCraft 2 map, and all the units, when they died, their bodies floated up. And it looked cool for the first, like, 1,000 games, but, like, after that, it was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
But it didn't make things move any slower. That would be really annoying.
I feel like it's too impractical because it would just take too long, but I have to admit, I would kind of like to see a tournament where all the players play on slowest speed instead of fastest. Just to see what happens when players have, like, 800 APM. It would just take so long.
Also, the players would just, like, they would die.
Yeah, you die the first, like,
as a
5
player,
minutes of the game. It's very
I
tedious.
would never want to play in that tournament. That would be the most boring. Oh my god. But, like, I do admit, right? You've got maxed out 200 armies at 30 minutes into the game. That would be sick. And I think we would all really enjoy a Matrix-like ability to slow the game down at that point.
Like, it would be fun for the players once you got 15 minutes in, but the first... Now, you know, instead of the first minute being kind of whatever, it'd be like the first 10 minutes or like whatever.
Maybe you like...
SCVs are slowly mining.
Okay, you could do that via replays and then just skip the first 10 minutes or so, get to the good stuff. I wonder if that would make rushes harder or easier to hold, because you'd be able to micro your units really, really well on both sides.
Yes, I guess that would get back to the debate of who's favored in what situations. Like, you know, there's a lot of talk that, you know, if you have like perfect play, what race is going to be the strongest? Like, I want to say people say it's Zerg that like in Team Melee is like becomes really favored.
Yeah.
So it raises some of those kind of interesting questions. Like, what can you do if you can have perfect control?
We should probably just talk about the game, because it is a little bit weird. The drone scouts the proxy racks in the center, and as Napoleon is looking for his opponent's spawn location, he will unfortunately not find it. So this is about as good as it gets for Naugrim. He scouts that there's a rush, finds it, and sees basically everything he needs to. That being said, he does still have a hatchery that's not done and a spawning pool that's only halfway completed.
Yeah.
It's still going to have to put in some work on hanging on.
Yeah, Arex Bunker Rush is gonna take some good control. Let's see how Naugrim's control is. We've seen the Korean Zergs have gotten quite good at dealing with these, but different situation in the foreign scene.
That is true, and it always looks different when you watch pros play. It seems so effortless. Like Flash's SCVs, like just have more HP. They are less glitchy. They do more. I don't know. It's insane. But already killing off the first Marine.
Yeah,
you
killed the first Marine, right? Your screen kind of went black, but I just saw Marine blood and no drone blood, so that looked like an okay start.
Certainly is.
He can't do that. He absolutely has to get. Oh no, that's a beautiful block. This is terrible for Naugrim.
It really is. Yeah, losing already 2-3 drones, and now he's got still nothing but drones to fight with. This is, actually, he's kind of leaving that one SCV a little bit out to dry, but look at that. He's going to zoom right past.
That's a huge catch. Now Naugrim turning the tables.
Wow, that was such a sick snipe. And now he's got Lings out?
He holds.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I thought it was going to be kind of catastrophic. And look at this Ling control, too.
Surround on that? What?
Whoa, it's still a little bit dicey, and that's going to do it. GG. Wow.
There's just Interact danger, and Napoleon did such beautiful micro, and it looked like Naugrim was just going to get steamrolled, and then all of a sudden, won.
Okay, well, I think, let's see. So that's going to do it for that game. Let me make sure that, okay, I'm turning my camera back on. I'm exiting this game. We can get back into the next one. Wow. Okay, well, that was a nice sort of technical test of what it's like to share screens. I'm a terrible observer. I just sit and watch the mini-map and then move my camera around really jaggedly. So that might have been a little bit nauseating to watch. Thankfully, everybody else got to see Zero's great observing, so at least that probably looked pretty good. But that was a really weird short game, so I don't know what to expect from that.
I mean, like I said, I feel like Naugrim is still a favorite. I mean, now we're 1-1 when Napoleon plays aggressive, and really the one that Napoleon won was a very difficult, more or less build order loss kind of situation. And we saw Naugrim hold on pretty well. I mean, that I was scared for Naugrim in game 2 when that vessel was out, but then all of a sudden Napoleon had that misclick and didn't get the muta and lost his vessel, and then it was just kind of like, well, Naugrim just kind of crushed him from there. And then this game, Naugrim more or less crushed him after a dicey moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously it sucks to have your proxy ratch scouted that early, so you know exactly how many drones to pull, where to put them. And it was still pretty close there when those drones got glitched out by that weird wall or whatever was going on there. I was like, wait a second, he just lost like 2-3 drones, and that's like a lot if you don't hold it. And especially if the Marines come together as a ball, obviously it's more difficult to deal with. But after that, like zooming by, killing off maybe 1, 2, 3 Marines, that was really, really good control. So that means that it's 2-1 for Naugrim. It's a best of 5, and so he is on match point, and we're going on to Aztec for our next map.
Reverse ramp. I wonder if we'll see Naugrim be a little bit more aggressive.
Share screen, application, Brood War, 72030 share.
Thank God for these modern features. This was not possible back in the day.
I tell you, my cursor's still a little bit flickery, but I'll sacrifice for the good of esports here. So, just to introduce the players, this is Napoleon in the yellow as Terran, and Naugrim is the green Zerg player at about the 9 o'clock location. And yeah, this is Aztec is like the weirder 3-player map for me. I was really happy with some of the others. Stillfit, I think, fantastic.
Stillfit is great, yeah.
A little bit weird to have like high ground that's not high ground, but after you get used to that, it's actually pretty standard. But yeah, Aztec has got things like reverse ramps. The rush distances are all kind of weird depending on which paths you take through the middle. Some of the pathways are just pretty tiny, so the flow through the map is a little bit weirder as you start to get bigger and bigger armies, which makes it really cool because it's not just the early game. It's like, oh, did I scout my opponent or did I not? It actually has larger implications because the map is pretty well designed.
And of course, the other thing going here, good for Naugrim, is that Naugrim is rolling on momentum. I mean, Napoleon kind of had him off maybe that first game, a little bit frustrated to go down 0-1, but now 2 pretty dominant wins, and 2, one in a very aggressive situation and 1 in a macro game. So Naugrim's feeling good now. He's like, all right, I got this guy's number. We're rolling. Yeah,
and I think the biggest thing for Naugrim is early scouting, right? When he gets the information he needs early on, defends pretty effortlessly. When he doesn't, when he gets a little bit greedy, it can be more difficult. So let's see what this is going to look like. Obviously, it's going to be a hatchery first build, 12 hatch coming down right about now. And still scouting with this drone, so making sure that he gets the info that he needs. And it's not going to be anything weird. It's an in-base barracks. Nothing super, super crazy from Napoleon.
Oh, is Napoleon actually going to expand?
Wow. Okay.
It's too early to say for sure, but there's no gas. He's at 13 supply.
Yeah.
Usually you go 10, 12 racks if you're 2 racksing, so maybe we're going to see an expansion from Napoleon.
And Naugrim's not going to go gas after hatch, just getting the pool following that up. So I think he's kind of honed his play, learned his lesson, however you want to look at it. But as is, like, what is this, a probe? Are we watching this? Drone harassed the SCV building the barracks, but
good job. Got a lot of hits. Look at this micro, cute. But
I
think he'll get the SCV, but we'll see. Maybe we'll have a terrorist drone. He's going through the minerals. He wants it. No, maybe not. Maybe not that badly.
Oh, that was a dangerous dive. All of a sudden, all the SCVs surround your drone. You're just like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But there's no justice in the world. The drone is going to get out after scouting.
Napoleon made a Marine first, despite having an SCV in the base of Naugrim and knowing that it was hatch first. So that's a little bit interesting. I wonder if he wants to do some sort of like light pressure and force a few lings maybe a bit later or something.
Yeah, the SCV does scout basically everything. He's going to see the gas on the way with the third hatch and know that it's not going to be any, crazy fast 2-hatch play. You can move out and see that, there's drones mining from the natural, and you should know that, yeah, he probably doesn't need that Marine right now, but it also could just be to deny scouting, make sure that pesky drone doesn't get back in and see whatever's next, which is going to be another barracks.
Well, are we watching without, at the risk of spoilers, are we watching Sharp or are we watching Napoleon? This looks familiar to what we saw a billion times last night.
And that's why I was mentioning the Marines, is because you do want to make sure that maybe you can hide what is happening behind here. So yeah, the second barracks is going to come across. Also, I mean, they're on close spawns on their 3-player map, Elmaster, so that might make it easier.
We'll see how Napoleon plays this, because we saw some hiding, some mind game attempts last night. We'll see if Napoleon's doing the same thing or if he's just going to kind of show that he's making Marines off 2 racks.
Is it okay to spoil those mind games? I really want to talk to you about those because they were so sick. If you guys have watched KSL yet in chat, then you're part of the Cool Kids Club. If you haven't, then cover your delicate ears and maybe open up a bookmark tab to watch those immediately following these games. But yeah, what Elmaster was referencing is that you can get away with building a third hatchery, Maynarding your drones away from your natural, and then when the Terran scans, they think they're being all-in, but surprise.
That was really good. He was so paranoid, he built 2 bunkers.
Yeah, he's just like, all I have to do is hang on. And meanwhile, the Sulky's getting a queen's nest. Well, one of these players is having a good day, and the other is about to not be. So that was really sick, but that's not what we're seeing here.
Right, so Naugrim's got his second gas up, and it looks like 2 racks. It looks like we have an eBay or an Academy or something starting in the base here for Napoleon. He's got his gas up, and just getting out that Marine cluster. Yeah. eBay and Academy both.
Yep, just finishing the Academy. Let's see what he starts first. There's Stim, so not a huge surprise. And he does have enough Marines at the top of his ramp to push back these scouting Zerglings. Although anytime you deny scouting from a Zerg, their sort of spidey senses start tingling and they start to wonder, wait a second, what's going on here? Well, Spire is almost halfway done.
Need a few Sunkens, but he's made a lot of Lings. Now, Naugrim doesn't know it's 2 racks yet, so if Naugrim is not careful and wastes Lings, he could die right here because he's not going to have Sunkens started, I don't think. So he needs to be careful because there's going to be more Marines here than he usually expects.
I wonder if there's going to be more Zerglings than Napoleon expects, because if he gets a flank here,
if
all these Zerglings come in at the same
time. It's away from the medics. He comes in with a big flank.
Oh my god. This is going to be crazy good. He's going to wipe this entire force out. Incredibly well played here. And if he gets the medics are the most valuable part of this, because the medics allow you to build.
He'll get him.
Oh my gosh, so good. There's even pacifist medic in the middle of the map.
Don't hurt me.
What is there? He has
there's a fire bat
on the high ground, but yeah, he does have a fire bat to buy time.
Lings might run by.
Production. He's got a second fire bat here, so this is just going to be a little bit annoying.
I feel like there we go. That's what I was worried about. Is maybe Lings were going to run in. So some scouting, some barracks denial. This will be annoying. And the biggest issue for Napoleon now that he lost all those Marines is the Muta, right? You have a group of Marines and then you lose them, and all of a sudden you don't have Marines to migrate against Muta. And he's losing SCVs here, the natural.
Oh, they get another one. Oh my gosh.
Save your Marines, Napoleon. There's Mutalists coming. You're going to have to build so many turrets now.
Yeah, let's see how many mutas are in production. 8th, 9th soon. And they're on the way. Let's see, where are my turrets at? Okay, we got 1 turret, 2 turrets in the main. Any more?
The weird turret place. Those 2 turrets in the main are not protecting each other. They can almost be isolated.
Wow, yeah, you can just come up from the bottom and kill one, kill the second one. I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
Academy can die too. I wonder if he's going to try to... How close is he to range? I wonder if he's going to try to focus it. Okay, never mind. He can't stop range.
Yeah, those would have to be some pretty sick glaives. But no, you're right. He could absolutely devastate the mineral line in the main if he wants to kind of clinically take that out. He's still getting pick-offs.
There a medic or 2 at least? That's not good.
Yeah,
any Marines out? There's no Marines. There's no Marines.
Even with double turret here, this is a control group of mutas. You can actually sit on that and kill it. And I think that might be kind of the place to strike. But he's not going to commit just yet. Just going to keep being annoying. Good muta control here as well, making sure not to take too much damage. See, he's losing a couple of mutas, but it's not dire straits for Napoleon yet.
Not at all. I mean, he can get over the barracks. There's still not a turret there. He's already forced out 5 or 6 turrets. He's continuing to force more. 5 or 6 Marines out here from Napoleon. So every time he loses these, it's just more time that Naugrim is just sitting back at home like, okay, well, I can just tech up. I got map control. Like, Naugrim's feeling fantastic right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him expand, but I think he's just gonna go for the kill. He's not
go for it.
He's not getting ahead after getting more ahead.
So here we go on the bunker. The repair is late. The bunker should go down unless there's like fire bats in there, which there is one, but not enough. So there goes down all those Marines, and now control of the natural goes to Naugrim. And with the ramp, he can just prevent any reinforcements. The natural has to be seeded for right now.
Oh my God, he's gonna lose everything here. All the turrets certainly. I mean, you can lift the command center, but even that just died of the mutas. The muta count is still very, very high, being reinforced. There's a few Marines and turrets in the mains, so he can hold on there. But after you lose your natural, like, there's just not that much left.
Oh yeah. Especially when your count is nothing. There's probably lurker tech behind this. I mean, maybe Naugrim's, well, with that many, maybe there's not lurker tech. Maybe he's just gonna go mutaling. Oh, okay.
Wow. And there's even more mutas, right? There's actually over a control group of mutas here. He's just refreshing them over and over again, hitting that F5 key, and oh my God, it's just disgusting amounts of damage here.
There's no tech either. I don't think there's even a factory started. So if he's indeed going Guardians, like even if he doesn't kill him with the muta, okay, there is a factory, but there's no starport. So I mean, if he goes Guardians, there's no way to deal with that. I mean, he's probably
only going to be on one gas there too.
Even before that, but if we get to the point where Hive is done and he makes a few Guardians, there's no answer for that. There's no answer for that.
What are
drones
these drones doing here? Okay.
Valley.
Aha. Right.
Putting in now.
Well, I think this is going to look not very good for Napoleon here. This is match point for Naugrim, so if he wins this, he advances on to the BSL Chobo League Finals.
Napoleon just cannot ever get a Marine count, and if Lings keep flooding, he's going to die to Lings. Hive is almost done. Should be done.
Yeah,
he's got champion
tap out here. Yep, you can't produce anything. It's Terran. You're not going to come back. Tons of mutas coming in over a control group, killing everything. And even if he can continue to mine, he can't keep any units alive to make with that money. So I think this is pretty much over, Elmaster.
Looks pretty over to me. And there it is.
And there
GG 3-1.
Wow. All right, well, that is one way to do it. Congratulations to Naugrim, who advances on to the BSL Chobo League Finals. Very well deserved.